Hey guys, Britt here. Welcome to End Times Bible Prophecy. Make sure to hit the subscribe, like, share, and restack buttons. Well, this is going to turn the world upside down. But first, I want to turn your attention to this right here. So tomorrow, I'll be doing a prophecy roundtable on artificial intelligence, technocracy, transhumanism, advanced technology with John Holler, Scott Townsend, and Patrick Wood. That starts at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So if you want to watch that live, it's going to be on YouTube only. That's just basically my technological issues and not being able to figure out how to get it on a whole bunch more platforms. But I probably need to study into that and figure that out. But for tomorrow, it's just going to be on YouTube. There will be a live chat in the side. Jenny will be in there if you want to chit-chat with her. But make sure to visit tomorrow if you want to be in that live chat. If not, it will be available afterward as a recording for hopefully forever. So it is, again, tomorrow at 7 p.m. If you have a hard time finding it, just come to the homepage for the YouTube channel and click this live tab right there, and you'll see it right there. So, what are we talking about that's going to turn the world upside down? Well, this right here. So this is from CNBC. It says JP Morgan Chase is giving its employees an AI assistant powered by ChatGPT maker OpenAI. So guys, it's artificial intelligence that's going to turn the world upside down, and it's not necessarily through what it does, but how quickly it's going to do it. And we're going to talk about that and what some of the implications for that are. So this says JP Morgan Chase has rolled out a generative artificial intelligence assistant to tens of thousands of its employees in recent weeks, the initial phase of a broader plan to inject the technology throughout the sprawling financial giant. The program, called LLM Suite, is already available to more than 60,000 employees, helping them with tasks like writing emails and reports. The software is expected to eventually be as ubiquitous within the bank as the video conferencing program Zoom, people with knowledge of the plans told CNBC. Rather than developing its own AI models, JP Morgan designed LLM Suite to be a portal that allows users to tap external large language models, the complex programs underpinning generative AI tools, and launched it with ChatGPT maker OpenAI's LLM, said the people. So keep in mind as we talk about using AI within corporations, anything you feed into ChatGPT becomes part of ChatGPT and can be accessed by other users. So if you're a company like JP Morgan and you have proprietary information, trade secrets, things you don't want to get out, you're not going to want to plug those into ChatGPT. So you're going to want your own model internal to your company so that you can feed some proprietary information into that and have essentially your own AI network, neural network. So that's what a lot of, we're going to see a lot of companies transitioning to do, is basically taking this technology but then internalizing it, not putting it out there to the whole world. So it says the technology, hailed by some as the cognitive revolution, in which tasks formerly done by knowledge workers will be automated, could be as important as the advent of electricity, the printing press, and the internet, JP Morgan CEO Jamie Dimon said in April. It will likely augment virtually every job at the bank, Dimon said. JP Morgan had about 313,000 employees as of June. So again, he's talking about augmenting every job the same way that software has augmented jobs in the past. Software doesn't necessarily replace the architect, right, or the engineer, but it can help make their job more productive And so maybe you need one individual to do what it took 3 individuals to do in the past. That makes you more productive. But it means 2 individuals either lose their job, or you have 3 individuals that are 3 times as productive as they were in the past. It's not necessarily going to lead to massive catastrophic job losses, some people think, but we're going to address that in a moment, and why it is different than technologies from the past that led to the replacement of people's jobs. So let's scroll down a bit. It says the bank is testing many cases for both forms of AI and has already put a few into production. JP Morgan is using generative AI to create marketing content for social media channels, map out itineraries for clients of the travel agency it acquired in 2022, and summarize meetings for financial advisors. The consumer bank uses AI to determine where to place new branches and ATMs by ingesting satellite images and in call centers to help service personnel quickly find answers. In the firm's global payments business, which moves more than $8 trillion around the world daily, AI helps prevent hundreds of millions of dollars in fraud. So we're seeing this in repetitive tasks right now. So repetitive tasks where it's very clear if these certain parameters are met, then this is what we would do. And so those tasks are being automated. But highly creative task, outside of the box task, not quite yet, but that is coming soon, and that's what will be transformative. But this gets to this point. It says friend or foe, and it says Heitzreither, who they're interviewing for this article, says charted out 3 stages for the evolution of generative AI at JP Morgan. The first is simply making the models available to workers. So that's stage 1. That's what they're doing right now. It says the second involves adding proprietary JP Morgan data to help boost employee productivity, which is the stage that has just begun at the company. So as I said before, they're bringing these AI models in-house because you don't want to use ChatGPT or these open-to-the-world tools and feed your industry trade secrets and proprietary information into that for the whole world to be able to find and your competitors to be able to uncover. So they're bringing that part in-house. It says the third stage is a larger leap that would unlock far greater productivity gains, which is when generative AI is powerful enough to operate as autonomous agents that perform complex multi-step tasks. That would make rank-and-file employees more like managers with AI assistants at their command. So here they're saying we're not going to have AI completely replace all the employees, but it will replace a number. It will make certain employees highly productive. And so those who aren't among those who are the highly productive ones and able to manage the AI are probably going to not have jobs in the aftermath of this, at least the current jobs that they have. It says the technology will likely empower some workers while displacing others, changing the composition of the industry in ways that are hard to predict. Banking jobs are the most prone to automation of all industries, including technology, healthcare, and retail, according to consulting firm Accenture. AI could boost the sector's profits by $170 billion in just 4 years, Citigroup analysts have said. People should consider generative AI like an assistant that takes away the more mundane things that we would all like to not do, where it can just give you the answer without grinding through the spreadsheets. You can focus on the higher value work. So again, the creative task, anything that is more mathematical or rigid, or there's a clear path to discovering the answer or the information that's being looked for, some types of research tasks, basic tasks of that nature, repetitive tasks, are going to be completely automated by AI. And anyone involved in that type of work now is either going to find themselves displaced by it, or they're going to find themselves moving more toward a focus on managing those tools to be far more productive. So we see more about this in this CNBC article. It says, billionaire CEO says bosses shouldn't BS employees about the impact AI will have on jobs. It says Jim Kavanaugh, CEO of Worldwide Technology, told CNBC that people are, quote, too smart to accept artificial intelligence won't alter their work environment. And it will. It already is. We're already seeing that. Of course, let's come down to the end because they tend to bury the leads in these stories. It says, is AI a job destroyer or a job creator? And guys, we've had this argument since the beginning of the Industrial Revolution, right? Whether it's any number of things. The mechanical loom is taking the job, so we need to attack it and destroy it. That's where the term Luddite comes from. But of course, that frees up people's time to devote to other, more high-value tasks, as they mentioned in the last article, and oftentimes creates entirely new jobs that no one even thought possible in previous years. But there's something different about what we're seeing in this revolution that I believe is what's going to turn the world upside down. So it says, fears about AI's disruptive effects on jobs aren't new. Some 300 million jobs could be automated away by artificial intelligence, according to a research paper published by Goldman Sachs last spring. And when I followed this link, tried to dig a little bit deeper. Well, okay, 300 million jobs are going to be automated away. By when? By the end of the century? Not such a big deal. In 6 months? That's a big deal, right? So what is the time frame they're looking at here? I assume it's not 70 years. But I don't know. They wouldn't say that. So that in and of itself is not very informative. It doesn't tell me a lot. But I would say that that's probably highly accurate over the next 6 to 10 years. And that is going to be extremely disruptive. It's going to turn the world upside down because, again, we've seen through the Industrial Revolution all sorts of jobs being automated away, workers being displaced, but new jobs being created that people can be moved into. But what happens when the Industrial Revolution that took place over 200 or 300 years gets condensed into 2 or 3 decades? What's the disruptive impact of that? And so that's what we're seeing right now. We're seeing this exponential change. It's going to come very suddenly and unexpectedly to a number of people. So it says the paper further noted that in the US and Europe, roughly 2/3 of current jobs are exposed to some degree of AI automation, while generative AI could substitute up to 1/4 of current work. Kavanaugh is not the only one who sees positive effects stemming from the use of AI in the world of work. Clara Shih, Salesforce's head of AI, told CNBC that there are jobs that will disappear due to the disruptive impact of the technology. Whether new technology will replace jobs is a question that's been asked throughout time, she said, referring to the creation of automation tools in factories, farming vehicles, machinery, and the internet as examples. There are a subset of jobs that are going to go away. The internet destroyed a lot of jobs, but then it created brand new ones that we couldn't have even imagined in 1999. Well, I would argue, yes, quite a few people were imagining them, right? They hadn't come yet. Oftentimes people can foresee these things, but it takes time for them to play out. It says, ultimately, AI will be a positive force in the world of work, leading to new jobs, according to Shih. However, what our job descriptions look like might change. I think what we're seeing today with AI is that everyone needs a new job description, she said. Most jobs are not going to go away, but every job is going to require a new job description or a new skill set. Last week, as part of its annual Dreamforce event, Salesforce unveiled a new AI platform called Agentforce. Companies can use the platform to build and customize their own AI agents, autonomous digital workers that can help with things like customer service and employee support. Some companies have even been actively touting the benefits of AI in reducing their overall personal needs. For example, Swedish fintech firm Klarna said last month that it was able to slash its workforce from 5,000 to 3,800 in a single year thanks to AI, and then pay its remaining workers more. The Buy Now, Pay Later pioneer told the BBC it's looking to further reduce employee numbers next year to 2,000 people through the use of AI in areas like marketing and customer service. So they're saying they're going to move from 5,000 to 2,000. So that's 60% of the workforce, if I'm doing my math right, in 2 years for this one particular company. Now, not every company is going to have the ability to do that, but guys, that will turn the world upside down, because it's not so much that 300 million workers may lose their jobs, but the speed at which that may happen. And we've talked in the past about the power of exponential advancing technology and exponential change. And we've talked about Chris Martinson's example of the stadium filling with the eyedropper of water, and it doubles every minute. So the first minute, there's a single drop of water on the pitcher's mound. Then a minute passes, there's 2 drops that land there. Well, within 50 minutes, the stadium is overflowing with water. But 45 minutes in, so 5 minutes before it's overflowing with water, it barely covers the pitcher's mound. So most of the people who were seated in that stadium would think, this is going to take forever. We've got plenty of time to adapt, plenty of time to make our move. This is not happening at the rapid pace all these people claim that it would. And then just like that, within 5 minutes, if those people didn't adapt, if they didn't move, they're drowning in the overflowing stadium of water. The same thing is going to happen here. We see all of this promise of AI and how it's going to change the world. And especially when ChatGPT rolled out, which has been about 2 years now, you've heard all this media coverage about how the world's going to change. And people say, well, here we are 2 years later, the world hasn't changed all that much. I think this was a bunch of hot air and it's not a big deal. The problem is an exponential change. For instance, if something doubles every year, well, 50% happens in that final doubling, no matter how long, how many time periods you're talking about. And so it appears small at first. It appears insignificant at first. And then it just ramps up vertically and suddenly, and is very shocking to people how quickly and how transformatively this change can happen. So that's what we're seeing now in a whole host of areas, technology-wise, but particularly with AI. And they mentioned in this past article, well, the internet. Who could have imagined back in 1999? Well, a whole bunch of people imagined. That's why we had the dot-com bubble. Was all sorts of people could imagine how the world would be transformed by the internet. But it just took many years for a lot of those things to roll out. And it did transform a lot of things. If you remember shopping at a mall at Christmas time where there were people packed shoulder to shoulder carrying bags with all of the items they bought for Christmas, and now many of those malls are empty, mostly because of the internet and the ability to just click and buy things off of the internet. And so with the promise of AI may not be realized in the time frame that many of the media pundits claimed that it would be, but it is coming. And I think the world doesn't realize how quickly, how suddenly everything can change. So we looked at this image, graph, whatever you want to call it, this illustration from Ray Kurzweil, who's an inventor. He's a technologist, a futurist that works at Google. And he put this together approximately 20 years ago, I believe. I believe this appeared in his 2006 book, The Singularity is Near. And I point this out because look at how rapid this changes he's predicting. So he has, and much of this has turned out to be relatively on par with what's occurred. So he says by 2023, so last year, $1,000 worth of computing power would surpass the brain power of the human brain. So many people would say, yes, that's happened with these chatbots and the ability to answer questions and do some of these mundane tasks. Now, by 2045, he claims that $1,000 of computing power will be equivalent to that of all human brains combined. So I don't know if we can even wrap our minds around how rapid that change is. So we're looking at basically 20 years from now. If you've got $1,000, you can employ the entire Earth, everybody on the Earth, except not only everybody on the Earth, but they'll never take vacation day. They'll never get sick. They never sleep. They work 24/7 around the clock. That's just with $1,000. Or at least $1,000 in today's dollars, or $2006. Might be $10 trillion by then. But, and I'm not saying that we're going to get to the year 2045 to see all of this happen by any means. But this illustrates the rapid technological change that's taking place and how disruptive this is going to be to our world. And it's not disruptive just from the standpoint of society or employment, but in terms of geopolitical power, global finance, because we've already talked about our current monetary system is coming to the end of its useful shelf life, and this just pushes it over the edge, as we see in this tweet from Luke Groman. Here we have him reacting to the story. JP Morgan has added 1,000 artificial intelligence workers, and he says, paradox, artificial intelligence and humanoid robotics are fundamentally incompatible with our debt-based monetary system. What in the world does that mean? Well, we've talked about our current monetary system is based on ever-growing amounts of debt being taken on. It's a Ponzi scheme. If more debt is not taken on, then the old debt can't be paid back. And thus it has to be defaulted on, and the whole thing crumbles. It falls apart. And so what happens if 300 million workers lose their jobs in a 1 or 2 year period, and those people have taken on debt to finance a home or automobiles, student loan debt, whatever it may be? They've been paying taxes, and their governments have run up, well, in the United States, almost $36 trillion. And that's just what's been spent so far. If you look ahead at promises they've made for Social Security and Medicare, the unfunded liabilities are over $100 trillion. So what happens when those taxpayers lose their jobs? So you can see how this system is coming to its end. We're heading into a deflationary period where we see, by its very nature, technology is deflationary. Just think of what you can get now for what you could get 30 years ago. I know 30 years ago, or almost 30 years ago, I went and got this tabletop, they call them desktop computers. And it was a Gateway 2000. So that's a computer company that's long been out of business for those who are young enough that you don't remember that. And it was, I want to say, $2,600 back in mid-1990s dollars. So that's, who knows what that would be today, $10,000 probably, for this computer that today probably, I doubt you could buy anything consumer electronic that would be less powerful than that computer was. I think it had maybe a megabyte of storage space or something. It was something very small. Maybe it was a gigabyte. I can't remember. But and the processing speeds today, people would laugh at that. Yet this was state-of-the-art home computer 30 years ago. And so as we see that deflation, those deflationary forces of AI coming into the world, as we see technology advancing exponentially, we're going to see the cost of things coming down. And that's a good thing. But it's a bad thing when you have an entire financial system based on debt rather than something similar to the gold-based financial system we had in the 19th century that was compatible with a deflationary world of better products at lower cost, and you could save today and actually have more purchasing power tomorrow. What a great idea. That leads to a rising standard of living for everybody who works, who's productive, rather than the current system we have, which benefits the people at the top who are able to acquire stocks and productive capital, and everybody else gets their earnings inflated away by this debt-based monetary system that's going to come crashing down, guys. As a result of this technology, AI is going to turn the world upside down. As we see quantum computing coming online and as we see molecular manufacturing coming, we're going to see it turn the world completely upside down. I personally believe we will not be here to see that. So I believe the rapture of the church will occur before then, because I think once we have molecular manufacturing, we're going to see many of the prophecies the Bible states for the end times. We're going to see those start to play out as a result of that. Things like Revelation 6 and Great War ending in a global empire that we read about in Revelation chapter 13. So guys, we're on the cusp of seeing these prophecies fulfilled. Jesus and the prophets pointed to these things, and Jesus said, when you begin to see all these things, you know that I'm near, I'm right at the door. So look up, your salvation draws near. So guys, we're witnessing these things happen right now. This is just the latest example of what is coming. And so for more on topics like this and artificial intelligence, don't forget tomorrow, which would be Tuesday, because I don't know when you're watching this, but Tuesday, October 15th at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Just come to the channel on YouTube. Again, this is YouTube only. And you'll see the Prophecy Roundtable that I'm participating in with John Haller, Scott Townsend, and Patrick Wood. And we're going to talk about a lot of these topics: artificial intelligence, transhumanism, technocracy, advancing technology, and a whole host of other topics as well. Ultimately, we're going to talk about what's most important, which is the hope you can have in Jesus Christ, no matter how dark and disturbing the times we live in may seem. Guys, you can have hope, and you should have hope, if you know Jesus Christ. Because, guys, storms are coming in this world. The storm clouds are gathering. The storm is coming to shore. Those who have built their houses on sand are in for a wild ride. But if you've built your house on the solid rock of Jesus Christ, if that's what the foundation for your life is, you'll be able to weather whatever storms life throws at you. But you're going to miss out on a lot of those storms, because the rapture of the church will occur before the worst of those storms come. So, guys, make sure that you know Jesus Christ. Make sure you've invited him into your life, that you're reading your Bible, that you're praying, that you're talking to the Lord. So let me know what you think. Leave your comments below. Make sure to hit the like, share, subscribe, restack buttons. God willing, I will see you at tomorrow's roundtable at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on YouTube. So I hope to see you there participating in the live chat. Again, Jenny will be in the live chat if you want to talk with her. So God willing, we'll see you tomorrow. Bye. If you want to learn more about the end times and Bible prophecy, make sure to visit my Substack at brittgillette.substack.com. There you'll find my latest videos and articles, as well as notes, where I share the latest news headlines, the articles I'm reading, and the videos I'm watching. Subscribe for free, and each new post on Substack will be sent directly to your email. Just scroll to the bottom of the homepage and hit the subscribe button. As an added bonus, your first welcome email will include a link to a copy of my free ebook, 7 Signs of the End Times. Also, make sure to check out all of my books. Just look up Britt Gillette on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Apple iBooks, Google Books, Kobo, or anywhere books are sold. Thanks for watching today, and until next time, keep your eyes fixed on Jesus, the author and perfecter of our faith.